time for Big D Energy with four-time Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the golden voice of Neal Ruhl. Live on the Woodward Sports Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal. Well, who's that voice? Who's that guy over there? Who let you in this establishment? Did you show ID?
Snuck my way back in here to check up on you guys. Looking in from the computer and watching you and listening to you on 99.1 The Roar and stuff like that. Just wasn't doing it for me, so had to come back in and check on Little Mas Costanza, see how our boy Sam was doing, and, you know, the subtle tones of the golden rule.
Now, I'll have to check your Wikipedia again. It says here, four-time Stanley Cup champion, former Detroit Red Wings great, Darren McCarty. Do you go by Darren, or how would you like me to address you?
I like DMAC.
DMAC's all right?
Darren's a little too formal. Don't use Darren Douglas because I'll be looking around. I'm in trouble. But, yeah, that's
so
fine.
So DMAC is fine with you?
DMAC is good.
Well, DMAC, my name is Neal. It's
Hi,
good
Neal.
to meet you. It's good to see you.
Nice. I enjoyed listening to you. Big fan.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your support and your clicks and all that. DMAC is back in the house. Business dealings go well and everything?
So far, so good.
Okay.
So far, so you just saw that there. I'm wiping Nick Antonucci sweat off here. He was just in here grilling me. So things are on the up and up. Got a lot of big things ahead. Obviously, was down at the Wings game the other night, and
right.
We're going to talk about what they got going. Big win the other day, but yeah, everything's good. Everything's good in the CBD world, I can say. So onward and upward. Happy to be here on a Tuesday.
Yeah, happy to have you back, man. It's we missed you. There's no doubt about it. I know the people missed you as well. In our YouTube chat thread, you can tap in, as they say, on the YouTube chat thread. I know Joik's on some island somewhere, so he's got that going on. Anytime you guys want to fire off some thoughts, feel free. Jump in. We use all the good ones. We've got a... It was a big night last night. Let's just say it like that. And I knew going in, to some degree, what it would be like, but I had no idea that battle lines were going to be drawn the way they were last night. And certainly we're going to discuss that. I have some replies to some accusations that come across the social media world. We'll discuss that. And as always, DMAC, it's not what I think. It's what I know, and we're gonna deal in some logic.
It's not
there.
What you heard.
I have some people that I must address, so certainly we will do all of that. As we said, we got Sawyer here in the house, we got Sam, and Sawyer. The Motorsports Minute content, and for those of you that don't know, we're all in constant contact with each other. That's the way this works when you have a daily show. And it's 24/7. Like, this thing never stops. If I'm watching Mountain West football at 2:30 on a Saturday, Slack messages and text messages are flying. Not everyone's responding, but that gives you, just an inkling of how it all works. I mean, we're in constant contact with each other. And Sawyer, we had this big debate yesterday about the Motorsports Minute because, DMAC, on Friday, I was told the Motorsports Minute went long, and Sam allowed it to happen. So right away, the first line of defense, Sam, it certainly had to take some yesterday.
Wait, who said it went long?
The people. I was told.
The people.
I was
told by the people.
I was told.
That means the people. But why did it go long? Was it not informative? Did it lack information? Informative? Did he drag it on? Or?
Well, the hard line is with the Motorsports Minute, it's a 60-second bit because the people that like it love it. They're passionate about it. It's not. It's like a smaller version of hockey, I think.
Okay,
Darren.
Sawyer, you're going to stand up for yourself? How much overtime were you?
We did. It was like, I think 4 minutes over, but it wasn't because I was stretching.
You see
it was
what I
3.5
mean?
over. It was 4 minutes total.
Whoa.
But I wasn't stretching. It's just because we had so much content, you see, Darren. I had to hit NASCAR. I had to hit Formula One. I had to hit IndyCar. I mean, there was just too much.
Yeah. So the compromise.
So technically, what would change it to the 4 minute or 3
No,
minute, the 2.5 minute?
We made an agreement.
We made an agreement. I was going to dock him 30 seconds on this week's Motorsport Minute. However, he hit us. And here's where he got me, because you guys know I like the Formula One. You know that. I'm a big Formula One guy. And IndyCar, not as much NASCAR. But you got me hooked. So this week, the Motorsports Minute, I'm going to make the executive decision.
Oh.
And we're going to go back to 60 seconds, only because he's including the Netflix Formula One documentary related material.
Can I come in from the 30,000-foot view because of not being here and now understanding why Sawyer was so adamant with the article, with the comment, and why it was like, it reminded me of an essay or maybe an independent study in high school that he submitted to you. You know, I was like, wow, this is really informative and all this stuff for the minute. But now it's because he was begging for that 30 seconds back. See, what I've learned, these F1 guys will do anything to get their way. And I guess Friday we're going to find out with the minute.
We are. But no, you got me on that one. So look for the Motorsports Minute. Full 60 seconds. I wanted to break the news here.
See, Neal, that's the best part. If anybody doesn't realize, right, what Neal just said is he's open. He's always open for that conversation if you bring the reality of what's real or what's not. But it's the truth. It's what we know. It's what we've heard. And I look forward to Friday.
Yeah, and people are jumping in already. And you know it's going to be the topic du jour. It's going to be the topic of the day. Richard Jasper says, can we not drool over Stafford, please? Battle lines were drawn last night. And it's a damn near 50-50 split. Are you surprised, DMAC? Like how passionate it is?
Well, what I don't get, I mean, I get the fact that, you know, if you're a fan of Matthew Stafford and you want him to succeed, and I also get if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions and if you're thinking for draft position, right? Both things can be true,
sure,
as they've said. Now, one of the things is that you have to admit last night, for whatever reason, Matthew Stafford got the toughest win of his career. That's that first playoff win. So now, right, what does it mean? Who knows? He's never been in this position before. But you know what? The bottom line is that was a team effort. And what it showed me yesterday is that because it wasn't Matthew Stafford.
Namely the Arizona Cardinals.
Well, here's the, but there's the one thing, but there's a difference, right? Because real early on, and I love this one because Kyler Murray looked like a deer in the headlights on 75, right? In the middle of traffic, going every which way. He didn't look comfortable. Matthew Stafford played within himself and allowed the team to help him win. For me last night, forget everything else. There's a guy named Von Miller that we heard of that was a big deal. Aaron Donald, that defense.
Jalen Ramsey, all the guys I talk about all the time.
But that's the team effort, and I think that's the one thing that you have to look at. For me, it's very interesting now because once Matthew Stafford gets that first win and he's in this rarefied air for him, but he's got a team behind him that's playing well. I mean, anybody else? Eric Weddle, 3 years not playing, out there calling plays and safety and stuff. I mean, so everything that we said, everything that you said, right, was true about the Cardinals. They couldn't get there. The late season fade and everything else. But this Rams team did something that we expected them to do, but still the expectations, but they went out and did it. So I'm disappointed as a Lions fan because your draft equity, you only lose it. But I'm happy for Matthew Stafford because I'm happy to see what this means. You know, does this propel him to another level, right? But the one thing that was awesome is he didn't try to do it himself. He stuck to the game plan, and it was a team effort, and good on him. But to your point, Neal, no, I mean, that was like the social media, it was either you're in or in the way, right? There's no, the way that I broke it down, that's like 2%, right? 2% of it can be, both can be true.
Pete Smith says, I can't wait for the Cardinals to trade Kyler Murray and he can win a playoff game. That'll make Pete happy. So, you know, maybe that's it. Maybe Kyler has to move on. No, but we're going to get into it, and I have like a full-on deep dive, and I'll let you guys in a little bit what happened social media last night. I took on this role, this identity that I'm really not comfortable with because it's not factually correct. And you guys, I think you guys will be there to defend me. And bottom line is, I've always been honest with you guys. You know that. And I feel the way I feel, and I'm probably not the most I try to detach emotion as best I can. You can't do it all the time, but that's where I am with it. And we'll discuss it all. Red Wings got a big win yesterday as well in Buffalo. And DMAC, we touched on it with Terry Foster and I sized up the NHL standings, and I kind of said, all right, the playoff dream, I think, is pretty much a wrap right now, just given the scenario, how far, them with the Bruins and the 5 games at hand for the Bruins and all that kind of stuff. Still, though, seeing good signs, seeing Dylan Larkin. And when the season started, DMAC, who were my 2 guys that I drew into question?
Larkin and Zadina.
Larkin and Zadina. And Larkin has answered that all the way over. When he's in the game, you have to deal with him. He's impactful. He is. He's impactful, and he's making himself a lot of money right now, Darren.
You know what? And he's like what you said. That is, he's earned it.
Yeah.
Hashtag Wiser plan. I mean, I call him King Arthur, pulling Excalibur out of the rock and up there in Waterford. Because he lives it and he loves it. And the thing is with Dylan Larkin is that you see him melding in, and I think we saw this with Steve Yzerman too, is that accepting and understanding what the role of captain is doesn't have to carry the load all the time, but at different times has to step up. Yesterday's a prime example of that. That they didn't have very much business, and just like most of the year, Nedeljkovic kept them in the game.
Yeah, they stole that win.
And you know what? You look at the way, because this. I sit there and I shake my head and laugh because it's the frustration that they give us because they can do that and they're not going to quit, but they can look like they're not doing anything. They could challenge a goal that I thought was impeded on, but that's not the rule. They're down 2-0, then they go and score shorty, and
right.
The way that they come back, they just don't quit, right? So it's them finding the consistency. To your point, I ask you every Friday, are they a playoff team? Agree that they're not right now, but you know what? They still got my attention.
Yeah.
Every game.
I will give you that.
That's
they do.
it. And from the way that it's been in years past, I'll take it. Enjoy the journey.
And that is a process in and of itself, Darren, where from where they've been to now, you take it and you're accepting of it and you like it. Now there will come a time and space down the road where that's no longer good enough.
It's really soon.
Yeah.
It's called next year.
See there you
but
go,
that's
D-Mac.
fine.
Yeah.
If my clock for the Lions were one season through and we got 17 games left, well, you got 82, 80, whatever left, 100 games left.
Yeah.
120 games, whatever it is, right? That next year, I expect them to make the playoffs. And when they do make the playoffs, I expect them to be a team that nobody wants to play.
Sure. No, it is, and it was fun, and it was cool too to throw it on in the car. I love sporting events during the day, and next time Fish is in, we'll talk about that. Maybe it's the European soccer model or whatever. I love sporting events during the day, dude. I do.
Hey, I'm gonna say that for whatever reason, sort of snuck up on me. But I watched the whole game yesterday in the afternoon as I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It really was that afternoon game where it was nice to be able to be done. I know some people missed it out because of work, but you know what? Anytime they win, it's nice.
No, absolutely. Steve Brown says, Neal, 60 seconds isn't enough. I vote for 90 seconds. Anyone else? Steve, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm so intrigued. The Netflix documentary, if you guys haven't watched it on Formula One's incredible. I mean, just the camera shots, the sound, the speed, how candid the drivers was really, really cool. I mean, it was stuff that you don't normally get. But no, we were talking about the Red Wings and being on during the day and stuff like that. I love sports during the day. Another daytime activity I like to enjoy when the opportunity presents itself. Gypsy Vodka, 50 different formulas, countless taste tests. Gypsy's the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. Here's the scientifics behind it, right? It's gluten-free, if that's your thing. It's corn distilled 6 times. They use artesian spring water. That's the scientific stuff behind it. For those of you that are into the experience and all that kind of stuff, cool-looking bottle, as you see on the screen if you're watching on the YouTube chat thread. For me, it's just good vodka. When you pour it in the glass with the ice, the club soda, the lime, you got it rolling right there. That's a perfect Saturday night for me, and that's where it stops. Yeah, I mean, you want to support local guys from the state of Michigan, made in Petoskey. That's great. I like that too. But above all of it, I like Gypsy Vodka Hard Stop. Try a bottle today. Ask for it by name. It's Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
I want the LA Rams to lose because obviously it benefits the Detroit Lions and the draft positioning. The same way that I was rooting for Lions losses this season, because once I know they couldn't make the playoffs, you're penalized for winning after that point. You just are. I didn't make the rules. That's the way the rules are. Same thing applies here. It's not personal against Matt Stafford. Very good. Here, all the following statements are true. Number one, Matt Stafford had some very good seasons here in Detroit as a quarterback. That's true. Matt Stafford had the football in his hand with a chance to win a playoff game on the road and didn't deliver. That's also true. Matt Stafford was very good to the Detroit community and did a lot of great things in the community. That's good. That's also true. I drive by the football field that they provided for Detroit Public Schools out there, or whenever I'm going down to Detroit City FC. Very good. Commendable. Tip my cap to him. Did everything right media-wise. Was a good spokesman for the team. Guys seemed to rally around him. That's all good. This is business now. For me, tonight is business. And business is better for the team I root for, the Detroit Lions, if the Rams lose. He's not vindicated if he wins. He's not vilified if he loses, to me anyway. The only thing I'm worried about is what's in this for the Detroit Lions. That's all I care about. Matt Stafford's gone, and he ain't coming back. So it doesn't matter to me. I don't hope he wins so he feels good or to see him get the playoff win. It's business. And business for the team I root for is benefited by him losing. That's it. He's not here. He's not coming back. So it doesn't matter to me, Terry. Welcome back, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, this guy, stranger here, is in the house. It's his first day, everybody. Darren is his name. He prefers to go by DMAC, for those of you that don't know. We got Sawyer, we got Sam. We are off and running, and now let's get to it. I mean, it's the order of business of the day. We can go 1,000 different directions in this thing already. The YouTube chat is exploding. You knew it would be. So let's deep dive into it. DMAC, you teased it a little bit, but now we have to make this about me, Darren, because I feel as though, and we played the clip, because, and AC on a YouTube chat thread, Neal isn't wrong, to be honest. I played the clip for everybody.
What did you not say there that I just didn't sit here and go, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, and the fact is, right, the only thing that you messed up is he doesn't play for our team now. Doesn't mean he can't play for it in the future. And that's it. That's the only thing you messed up there, right?
Never say never, right?
They're coming home tour. That might be the only thing. What you said is the logicality of everything else. And I know everybody, the tweet and the business, business means what brings you assets to your franchise. Now, when you lose games or when the pick you have and that team wins games, well, that takes it down worse. And I don't know about you, but in the draft, the lower pick is the more valuable pick.
That's just so, and I can't understand why people can't get this. And I got it on social media yesterday, Sawyer.
This is ridiculous.
Joe Charlie _ said, honestly, this mentality is a reason why most Lions fans will never be happy. A higher draft pick doesn't guarantee anything. To each its own, but saying winning will penalize you is crazy. So here's the first part that I want to unpack about this. And I go to you guys. Help me. I'm a guy, look, I'm reasonable. I'll listen. I will. I'm an educated man. I'll listen to other people's perspectives. So help me with this, because maybe the problem's with me. And I'm open to that. If it is, I'll admit that. Explain to me how once you're not eligible for the playoffs, explain to me how you're not penalized for winning. Make it make sense.
Well,
because you are.
Technically, to your point, even if you still are in the playoffs, winning will jeopardize you. Well, how do I know that? Because the Super Bowl champion picks last. Right? So the more you win, whatever your record is, the better your record is, the lower the pick is.
And I'm not saying that, DMAC, because you can't win if you don't get in. And once, once you can't get in, though, you're penalized.
But my point, the matter is your record reflects on your draft position. So the more games you lose, the higher draft pick, which means more value because you have more eggs in your basket, at least with other teams looking in and saying, oh, they have what we want. They have what we need, or they don't. And that sometimes it's having the option, right? If you don't have the option, chicken or steak, if you just have one, there's no such thing as an option. You lose, you have more options. That's good business. So to say that winning is, crazy, that's ridiculous.
No, I mean, it is. It's factually incorrect to say that. Okay, we'll put that to the side now. You guys know what my rationale is with that. Here's the other thing. For me, I'm not anti-Stafford. I'm not. I told you in that clip, I don't care. He's gone. He's not here. He tapped out. Like Grant Hill tapped out, like Justin Verlander tapped out, Matt Stafford tapped out. That's also true. You can't deny that. You know guys who didn't tap out, and this I might be going old guy on the lawn thing. Get off my lawn thing here. Isaiah Thomas didn't tap out. He rose up. Steve Yzerman, a guy you know pretty well, he didn't tap out. I'm sure he could have went to the front office and said, hey, get me out of here, trade me to the Penguins or something like that. He didn't do that. He changed his game to win. He changed what he did as a player, his identity as a player, because it more benefit the team. Tell me if I'm wrong, Darren.
No, you're not. But again, here's the argument to your point, right? Where you said going back, you're going back 30 years. You're going back over 30 years. Not only have the games changed, the attitude of the players have changed, right? So you see, right, it's the same thing. We're mentioning two guys that have played their career. You rarely see that, anymore. I think that one of the most amazing things is you look at Malkin, Crosby, and Letang that have played 17 years together in Pittsburgh. You don't see that anymore. So I think it's more of a unicorn when that stuff happens. But to your point, I guess to my point, when the going gets tough, more times than not, the talent goes for the money. Talent goes where it's better.
Yeah, Robert Closia says, it's the effing other team. It's the Rams, WTF. It's one thing if you bet on it or fantasy league or have money on it. If you're actually a Lions fan, the pick is all there is. And that's where it is. And look, I'm not a Richard, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to be happy. I do. Matt Stafford got the win. He's happy. I would rather people be happy than not happy. That's just the kind of person I am. Like, I want happiness for people. But as a Lions fan, I'm upset they won because it impacts my team that I root for negatively. You can't
because to your point, right? And here's the thing: choosing between 23rd and 27th, 28th, or whatever else. What does it hinder you getting? What person that you would like who?
Okay. Well, here's the thing. Sawyer and I kind of collaborated on this. And this was a quick little Google search, from just small-time organizations like CBS and stuff like that. I want to give this some levity to the people, the Nick Leaches of the world here at Woodward Sports that are like, oh, it doesn't matter. I've seen them waste draft picks my entire life. It doesn't matter if they're picking 20th or 30th. Okay, guys, here you go. So these guys aren't important to you. That we have lined up. If you're talking about players like, I don't know, David Ajabos, perhaps, because according to some mock drafts, so they got him 27th-ish. Chris Olave's, people impressed by Chris Olave at all, as far as they go with that, because I know as the season went on, people talked about how great Chris Olave was and all that kind of stuff. Oh, by the way, what about, and this guy really seemed to be discussed a bunch, certainly around these parts in the college football playoff. What about guys like Jordan Davis from Georgia? That cyborg monster that that played for Georgia. These guys all projected in that 23 to 24 to 30 range. That's what I'm talking about. Because it doesn't matter, right? If you're the Nick Leaches of the world, it doesn't matter to you today, sitting in this chair today, because next weekend is the next round of the playoffs. But when that draft rolls around in April, That's when it hits home, and that's when it gets
Here's the
real.
acceptable comment that I would accept from Nick Leach if he said, well, you know what, I've seen them draft bad drafts in the past or whatever, but I trust the guy in charge. So unfortunately, no matter where it falls, I think Brad Holmes will make a good selection, right? You know what I'm saying? It goes back to the hashtag Wiser plan. It goes back to you trust the guy in charge. And I think I can look at you and say I'm more confident in Brad Holmes because why? Because the guys he's drafted last year have stats in the NFL, right? Which is something different from past regimes.
Won
so
awards and
moving
stuff.
forward, the consolation to that is I believe that no matter what, they're going to get a good player and somebody that fits what they're doing here. But
Matt,
you're 100% right.
Yeah, well, and here's my other point, too. Matt Carrier says, I don't see Stafford being pegged as tapping out. Honestly, the NFL is a business, and after 12 years, he knew the Lions weren't going to get him players that he needed to win. So it's a business. I'm a fan. It's a business to me, too. So I don't care where Stafford goes. I don't, because he's not here anymore. He tapped out. He requested the trade. He said, I'm done here. That's what it is. And again, I'm not a Stafford hater.
And you're both right, though. You're both right. He did say, I can't get to where I want to go. I'm out. And the fact is that you're right. The fact that he didn't stick it out for the career because he wanted to go somewhere else and get out of this organization. So, yeah, both things are true. But it's the fact that the most poignant thing is that who cares? It's about what the Rams do because that affects our draft choice.
Alex Haggerty says, and Brad, I trust DMAC's right on this one. Brad will get an impact player any of those 10 picks, especially since we need so many players. Robert Neal's 100%. Now we have a difficult chance of getting London, Burks, Olave. And that's where it is for me. I'm just looking for the chance. I'm looking for the opportunity. The opportunity that's there at 23.
The opportunity to say no. To say I don't want you. That's what it is. Not to pick the guy. It's the opportunity to say I'm going to pass on you.
Yeah, and that's where it is. Lions Rumble 81. Yeah, I'm over Stafford for good. He got his playoff win, but I still bleed Honolulu blue. Good for him. He got his playoff win. Well, Lions Rumble, and I know you're a Lions fan, and you watch the show and listen to the show, and I appreciate it, man. And we've talked about your comments in the past, but if you bleed Lions, that hurt your franchise yesterday. See, this is the disconnect that I can't get past. And I just help me make it make sense.
I think here's the thing. Because we're so far away, because we have so many pieces, right? So you're chickling this pick from the Rams around that at the end of the day, right, with how far away the Lions are, it's not as effective as if they're like a player away, and this would really solidify if, you needed a top 20 pick or something like that to finish off your team.
Yeah, we're going to continue this discussion when we come back. Rich, how about those Cowboys? Where are they? America won when the Cowboy lost. There was no question about that. Neal Ruhl here for Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The black card, something that I personally use.
Goblin.
Members enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited tanning, hydro massage, massage chairs, total body enhancement, and here's a kicker for me, access to over 2,000 locations worldwide. Doesn't matter where you are. Black card member, you slide right in.
2,000
yeah,
pounds.
Exactly. And you can go to www.planetfitness.com to join today. They got a $0 down, $10 a month special going on right now. You've been thinking about doing it, guys. Trust me. And look, there's all these talking points and marketing points. Let me tell you how it worked for me. My life wasn't where I wanted it to be. You know what I'm saying, from a fitness perspective, and I made the decision to change that. Work out at Planet Fitness all the time. When they talk about the non-intimidating, all that kind of stuff, judgment-free zone, it's true, folks. I go there every single day. Well, not on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, I go there every single day. I can't confirm everything they're saying. It's become a staple of my life. So just look at it from that perspective. And folks, as a guy that was 338 pounds at one time, I can tell you, Planet Fitness, it was an integral part of getting right, I guess you could say. So there's the personal story behind it. But again, go to www.planetfitness.com. $0 down, $10 a month today for a base membership, all the way up to the black card. And also, they're hiring all positions. For more information, go to planetfitness.com.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
On and poppin', Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, DMAC, Darren McCarty, back in the house. We got Sam, we got Sawyer, squad deep, as always, up in here. On our YouTube chat thread, Rich Young, glad the Wings got a win. We're glad, too. We'll talk a little bit more about the Red Wings. I got some questions for DMAC about the nuts and bolts of stuff with this Red Wings team. It's an exciting time.
I got answers.
I know you do. I know you do. Mike G says Kyler Murray has a lot of time now for Planet Fitness. What about that implosion last night?
Yeah, but you saw it coming. I mean,
100%.
when you think back, and I saw a lot of things on social media about, oh, good, they got lion eyes, and they haven't been the same since what the Lions did to them. That just goes to show you not only the immaturity or the inexperience, but the fact that it really did, in my opinion, like something happened. Right, obviously that they didn't expect happen, and when they weren't able to recover, and that to me that shows the inexperience. So, I mean, it's interesting. You know, where do you go from here if you're Arizona? Do you run it back again and all these things, or is it something that you're going to make some sort of hasty decision and look to move Kyler Murray, or is it the coach Cliff Kingsbury? So, definitely, because here's the thing, Neal. History keeps repeating itself over and over and over and over again with this team in the second half of the season. So until they can fix that, it could be more of a mental thing than a physical thing.
And that could be the case. And if that is the case, then that's not a good spot to be in if you're the Cardinals.
No,
because
I mean, you see something wrong. Right, where you see something wrong. And we were talking yesterday because, I thought the Cardinals would come out. Obviously, the way they played on the road, 8-1 all year and only losing to Detroit. And you think that, okay, they got some answers and stuff like this. But, the big thing is the couple things is not being able to bounce back. But when they lost Bernard Hopkins, or DeAndre Hopkins, Bernard Hopkins, yeah, he's been out for a while. He got knocked out a while ago. Yeah. I'm dating myself, but no, DeAndre Hopkins, when they lost him, that really, really affected, their offense, and they weren't able to regroup. So it'll be interesting, as you see more general managers, coaches, and the new hires and guys get interviewed and stuff like this. It'll be interesting the carousel goes.
No, it will. And just for those curious about Kyler Murray, he's coming up to the option year in his contract next year. So if they pick up that fifth-year option on him, it's the QB franchise tag salary.
Can I ask you a question? Justin Fields or Kyler Murray?
Right now? Right now, I'd have to think about that one, DMAC.
Same position?
No, Kyler Murray's. We've seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen it, and I don't know if it's schematic. I don't know if it's a personnel thing.
So you believe?
But I guess.
Do you believe more in Kyler Murray than Justin Fields, or do you think it's they're both situational? I guess the first question is: are they both NFL quarterbacks?
Yes.
Okay.
So here's my lean.
So they have to be in the right system.
Yeah, sure. Here's my lean with it. Is I would probably, if presented those two right now in their current time and space where they are contractually in their career and everything, and you guys know I'm cut a little bit different than most when it comes to this.
You don't want any athletes raising your kids.
The Madden folks out there would be, Kyler Murray, there's no doubt. Are you going to pay Kyler Murray $40 million a year for the next 10 years or 8 years or whatever it is?
I guess that was a roundabout way to bring out your draft capital and your salary cap, because the big thing against Kyler Murray is the option coming up, but now it's coming into the Kirk Cousins.
I mean, next year is franchise tag money.
Right? And you look at it like that, because if you're going to lay your eggs in that basket, there's only a few guys that you would want to pay that money, or you're going to end up with the situation like you got in Minnesota.
Right.
With Kirk Cousins.
YouTube chat thread. This is interesting. This is the dynamic, and this is why I've asked for kind of some help, I guess. Gator Raider says, Neal's 100% right, but people don't want to hear it. Then we got Dag the Gur. DMAC, tell Neal it ain't about us. I don't have to feel bad about the Rams winning just because he says so.
No, you don't have to feel bad about it, but you have to also understand that at the end of the day, what Neal is telling you is that when you do not have the option to pick A, B, or C because of this win that you enjoyed, it's like both things can be true.
Yeah, and that's why when we do our draft show, which I'm going to...
do a draft show?
We better be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
We better be. And
More than 60 seconds on that, I bet.
we better be doing wherever whatever bar or wherever we're at to do the draft show. I want Dag the Gur to comment or come out or whatever and say, okay, Neal, I don't have to feel bad about the Rams winning just because he says so, and you don't. You're right, but I don't want to see your comment on there saying, oh, I hope they trade up to get Chris Olave or something. I don't want to hear that. I don't. I mean, I should write that down.
Right? Because
I should start getting
if you would have cheered harder for the Rams or if you would have lost that last game, you wouldn't have to worry about it.
No, but you can't have that both ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to draw your line in the sand.
Both things can be true, but you can't have it that way. That's another deal.
That is like a third.
That's the caveat version.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Rob Topping says teams are figuring out the Cardinals, Ravens, Bears type offense, and I don't know if it's a contained thing or have teams impacted. Hey, there goes Nick Leach walking by out there. Sorry, Nick. But anyway, hey, you're the one that said it. But anyway, I don't know if it's a contained thing that they figured out how to keep them contained in the pocket, pressure. It seems to me, and again, this is the untrained eye. This is why I think coincides with why edge rushers and quarterbacks, man. I think the first round next year is going to be 6 quarterbacks and 12 edge rushers, man. Like that's the way it's going to go. And oh, by the way, all the mock drafts, 3 quarterbacks now in the top 11.
Oh, creeping! Who's leading the charge?
I saw they had the Malik Willis, I think somewhere like 10 or 11. The Steelers. And be taking a quarterback as well, and then Matt Corral was like 5th.
What about Brady Zappi?
Oh, yeah. Well,
Bailey Zappi.
We talked earlier. His long ball looks like Jack Trudeau in the original Tecmo Bowl. Like it looks.
So you're a big fan.
So and it goes on.
You're a big fan.
Yeah, 100%.
You're a big fan. Dropping it in the bucket.
Yeah. Matt Carrier is pick 23 to 32. Really getting a difference in talent. Depends on who you get. Depends on who you have the ability to get.
That's where it is. That's where it is. And it all, obviously it all plays out. But again, it all comes back to, do you trust the guy in charge? Right? Do you trust what they're building? And from what I've seen is that give this guy the keys, right? He's got the keys and he can continue to drive this bus.
Yeah, it's weird. Robert says rooting against our own draft pick is worse than rooting for the Packers in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Dag says my hope is that Holmes makes the right decisions, and it all comes back to that. Yeah, which is why we have that going right now, DMAC's clock. But Dag, I would say it this way: in that you're hoping Holmes makes the right decisions. I'm leaning towards you're probably of the opinion that you have a little bit of belief in Holmes based on the first and only draft that he had. I know I do. I know DMAC does. That's what he said about it anyway. Where for me, I do, and therefore I want him to have all the available tools that he can have. I want him to have the 23rd pick instead of the 28th. And I don't care that it comes at Stafford's expense because he's gone. I just don't. Okay, let me ask you guys this Matt Stafford, and I'm not hating, again, I have to qualify this, I think, every time I say it. I'm not hating on Matt Stafford. Don't hate the guy. Think he's a good player. I do. I think Matt Stafford's a good football player, a good quarterback. Not great. He's good. But I'm just wondering, when do all you guys get your Matt Stafford playoff victory T-shirts in the mail? Did you get a package subscription like Threads or something like that where you got your Justin Verlander World Series champion T-shirt and now your Stafford one is coming? Like what? I don't understand this, man. Like I don't. Do you get a prize? Am I not aware of it? Like do I get a Matt Stafford prize? I said he's a good player.
Yeah, but Neal, you know what? That's to some people that is their Super Bowl. Kennedy Broadwell. I think she's got one of those shirts, doesn't she? Didn't we see one of those shirts with the little Matt Stafford on it? But I'm saying, Neal, that's some people, like, that is the greatest thing that's ever happened in their Lions fandom. Is the fact that their quarterback that they've watched went off and won a playoff game. I mean, can you not? I get it for the fact that this is the closest thing the Lions had to a playoff win in so long. So people want to relish in it. That's my guy. So they're just sort of hanging on that they had a little bit to do with it.
So they don't get a T-shirt in the mail or something like that.
Could,
like they don't get a prize.
If they wanted one or if they ordered one. I mean, if that's their end goal, like once he did. But, some people... maybe that's all they were looking for. Maybe it's baby steps, right? Because this is something that they were looking for. And once he did that, maybe it just cracks. I don't know, bro.
Okay. That's all I'm looking for.
I don't know.
That's all I'm looking for.
I'm looking for rings. I collect rings. I'm a ring collector over here. All right? So, I'm just trying to give you the why. I'm just trying to give you the why. I'm trying to figure
and I
it out.
appreciate it. And that's why I'm doing this right now, because I want to talk it through.
Can we
because
call
again,
Kennedy
the
and ask her
problem,
why she got a jersey?
the problem could be me. I'm not above saying that.
Well, you know what? Sometimes the problem is you, Neal, but I don't think the problem's you this time when you're looking for the best for your team. Number one priority is your Detroit Lions.
Yeah, because that's where it is. I'm not changing, man. Like, I put this much time into it already, and I'm not going anywhere
Well,
else.
it's the same thing as when you said you're not looking for athletes or celebrities to raise your kids. Well, some people are. So it's to each their own. Not saying it's right or wrong. It just is.
Well, again, everyone goes to movies, and a lot of these actors aren't the best guys in the world either, and they love them. It's just, that's the way it is. I know, DMAC, you probably got hundreds of stories of people that have this kind of public, I know I do, where they have this public persona, and people feel about them a certain kind of way, but as you know, you look behind the curtain, it's not that way.
Let me just tell you, don't compare them to me. Everybody's different, just like any human being.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know if you guys noticed or not. Hold on. I'm going to do a little side profile. Yep. Oh, check it out. In case some of you are wondering, all business here. What did I do? What you can do. Yes, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. Football 5 days a week, no matter who's playing. Things uncomplicated. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Like you see here on DMAC. You two can walk in, sign in, sit down before you know it. You are handsome and clean. Get to Lady Jane's open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Why, Sam? It's wicked. Awesome. Neal, Ruhl, Sawyer on the ones and twos. Sam making the sound so great. DMAC here. Big D. Energy. Be right back.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, DMAC, Darren McCarty, Sawyer, and Sam in the house as well. Happy to have DMAC back in here. And this topic, it just keeps going. I am curious about that, though, where people stand. And I know there's always going to be recency bias when you talk about Kyler Murray. It's decision time for them. As independent viewers, I guess you could say, of the Cardinals situation, which we are, I wonder, because it's decision time with Kyler Murray, in and of the point where it's his option year next year. And so he's got a franchise tag salary. If you want to sign him, it's going to cost you what Kirk Cousins is making. It's big time money. And then you have to sign him past that.
What is is there a new norm? Like, how do we see the new norm so this stops? Does it take somebody to just flat out not renew a contract, not pick up an option on one of these guys? How do you reset that whole, quarterback issue?
But that's bad
it's almost
management,
like,
though,
to me,
DMAC.
it seems like a big quicksand, right? And the best GMs and the best whatever, you either have your Patrick Mahomes, your Tom Brady's, your Aaron Rodgers, right? Or you have the young guys with the contracts that you're trying to elude, right? What we're trying to do here, when you're looking at that situation, looking at where we're at next year with Jared Goff, you're going, 20-some million, doable. We know he's not the answer, but wow, it's a better position I think we're in. How does this stop? right? Because the way that it's gone, right, when Matt Stafford signed, highest paid quarterback, everybody lost at 20-some million. Now it's 40. It's going to go to 50, go to 60, go to 70. When does it stop?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. And more importantly than that, if you're the Cardinals, like I feel like you just can't turn your back. Like you got to get something for them, right?
Well,
I mean,
that's
the rub.
Well, that's the whole thing. What is the next? And if you're going to move on, because you've sort of pigeonholed and all these spots captivated you. The only position I think you want to be in that situation is what Kansas City's in. Right, with Patrick Mahomes. Now, you don't want to be in that situation with the Kyler Murray unless, because he hasn't earned it. So, I don't know. I just see it such a slippery slope, especially when you are on that cusp of trying to get to that next level. And then all of a sudden, because we've seen it, like Minnesota is the epitome of that 9-8, whatever, right there at the cusp every year because they're pigeonholed by that contract of their quarterback. And by the way, Sam, AC says you're playing bangers today, bro. I got to agree. Anytime I hear
thank
bangers,
you so much.
That's my favorite wrestling term. That's a banger.
AC, Kyler isn't a bad quarterback. Stop it, Neal. No, I'm not saying he is a bad quarterback, AC. All right, AC, I'll ask you. You're a loyal
Just
viewer and watcher
rephrase
of this
that.
show.
AC, what Neal says is at $40 million.
Are you in? And I'm talking like you got to do a long-term commitment.
Because I think at $40 million, he's a bad quarterback. At 25, he's not.
Sure.
Right? Where it comes down to it. Where it shouldn't matter. When you want your franchise quarterback, it doesn't matter what you're going to pay him. Because he's your guy.
Right. And you guys know how this works, right? It's market dictated. So either you're going to commit to him or you're not. And that's my question to you, AC. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to go 8 years, $320 million for Kyler Murray? Because DMAC, it's not about how good Kyler Murray is or how good you think it is. It's about what the market dictates.
No, it absolutely is. And it comes down to the question is what's easier to fix and where's the bigger problem? And I think that at the end of the day, this is soul searching the Arizona has to do because is it the wrong coach for this kid? Even though they thought it was the perfect pairing all along. So right now, be happy you're a Detroit Lions fan, not an Arizona Cardinals fan. How bad does that say?
Yeah, AC says you have no choice. You're already restarted after dropping Rosen. Okay, then that's where you're at with it. I mean, for me, and to answer DMAC's question, which I'm kind of glad we stumbled into this discussion because it's intriguing to me. I know this might alienate some of the audience that's going, why are we talking about Kyler Murray right now? I'm more interested in the theory behind it because if things go according to plan for your Detroit Lions, you'll have a similar situation on your hands with Goff.
But here's the theory, right, where you're looking for, what do we know? This is a copycat league. Absolutely. On and off the field. So somebody figures out either the deal, the different things going on. The one thing we haven't mentioned in a while, which is, the Deshaun Watson's still out there. All the different, there's some things in the offseason NFL ether, right, which big decisions have to be made. And you nailed it, Neal, because other teams are looking to see where somebody's at the plate right now. What are they dealing with it because they know what's coming up. And I'm pretty sure that the way that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and their regime, they're aware of this moving forward. Now, here's the one thing. I think that I would think that if there's any inkling of giving Jared Goff that money or that type, then he's going to have to prove it. He's going to have to come out and say, wow, we're going to all have to say, wow, he's going to get it. Because if not, it goes back to your draft capital, it goes back to your contracts, it goes back to first thing, all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's really where I am with it in that they have a big-time decision that they have to – and it's now. Like, life moves fast, man. Like, you just got cooked in that playoff game. It was embarrassing. And now you got to decide on a guy that – and I saw somebody in here say, you got to sell him like a bad stock. Is this a market overreaction right now? Since we're going to use a stock analogy, is this a market overreaction with Kyler Murray? Because I do like him. And there's a lot of talk, too, about his height, how he can't see over the offensive line and stuff like that. He can be a dynamic player. I just want to know structurally what changed. What changed? Did the Lions break them? I tweeted that yesterday. I said, looks like the Lions broke the Cardinals out there.
It did. No, it absolutely did because they weren't the same. And you know what? To me, it's more you look at the physical talent of the roster, and I mentioned Hopkins missing veteran wide receiver when you don't have that. To that aforementioned, you look at what Cooper Kupp meant to Stafford not only this season but even yesterday, and having a quiet first half, but then boom, I mean, amazing. So the quarterback, wide receiver, and we saw it a little bit. And the exciting part to be a Lions fan is Goff and Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know, like you see a lot of the similarities between Stafford and Kupp, the way that these two work. So
yeah, that's interesting. Canuck Duke says you can be happy Stafford won yesterday, but you have to be furious at the Lions for being supremely incompetent for 60-plus years, including the years with Stafford. And yeah, nobody was more critical of their general manager moves, of their draft moves than me. I mean, it angered me to the point where I stopped being a season ticket holder, where I had just seen enough and I kind of tapped out. It didn't mean that I'm not going to go root for the Patriots now, because that's not the way that it works. I'm born and raised here. Parents worked in the car factories, all that kind of stuff. I've talked about that before.
Just taking a hiatus until they give you reason to get back into it. Same thing. I
believe in Brad Holmes.
I bleed this Red Wing team. And I couldn't go to the game for 5-6 years because it was so friggin' embarrassing.
Yeah, and you and I had real discussions about that. Where I
I remember I stayed for one game in 5 years for the whole game. It was a Boston game.
That's amazing because you're down there all the time. That's amazing.
I'm usually gone between the first period. I've stayed for more. I've stayed for at least a dozen games this year.
Yeah.
And I hate getting caught in the parking structure.
Well, hey, man, don't.
But it's worth. Hey, but again, to your point, right? You give me something, I'll give you my time when you show me something. So
yeah, and that's where I was with it. Rams Nation, hey, what's up, Rams Nation? Hey, I watched the Lions game because Goff was still our quarterback for so many games. I was rooting for Goff, and I'm a diehard Rams fan. But see, here's where it's different, though. Rams Nation is an asset we have is directly tied to the performance of the Rams. See, that's a difference where you can do that. It doesn't matter to you. Yeah, I hope Goff wins. If it didn't matter to me, if it didn't hurt the draft capital that my team holds, sure. Again, I am still happy for Stafford. I am. I just wish they wouldn't have won. Is that crazy?
No, because you want it better. Now it moves forward. Now here's the whole thing, right? It always got to the point is I'm always looking to is when athletes get to a next level, right, in their career, what do they do with it now? So I'm more intrigued for the second game than I was the first game. See if we can do it to old Tommy Boy again.
Oh, man. This was a good one here, too. Honolulu Blue Sparty. Murray looked dead inside, and the coach looked lost. It was a blitzkrieg yesterday.
Here's the one thing is that that sort of, I mentioned it earlier. Kyler Murray looked like a deer on 75 trying to cross the road. But the thing is, Cliff Kingsbury, if you watch, he can't hide his emotion, right? Like some coaches can hide their emotion on their sleeve, but no, defeated. And I think you saw that over the past 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Right? It's just a culmination of it. So, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I'm just glad that I'm not an Arizona Cardinal fan.
No, it is because they got a huge offseason coming up for them. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. We're going to talk Red Wings coming up in just a little bit here on the show. Also got an announcement for an interview tomorrow. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We got Sawyer's Business Minute coming up, too. Sawyer takes on the stock market. We'll discuss that also. But, again, wrapping up this whole Matt Stafford discussion with what happened. The Rams get the win. So, it's way too early, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it right now. What's your gut saying for the Rams going into Tampa and Tom Brady? And you know how this is going to work, right? Like the Stafford haters, and again, I'm not a Stafford hater. I do want them to lose because it benefits the Lions. We've been over this for an hour now. He can't go in there and win, too, against Tom, or can he?
Well, here's the thing, right? Because it wasn't his total victory by himself, right? If the defense for the Rams plays that way, can get Tom Brady off his spots. Now, Tom Brady will get rid of the ball a lot different, a little bit of a different offense, but can they? Yeah, I think they can. Will they? Who knows? But this is, right, Neal? You're uncharted waters, right? You don't know. We can speculate all we want, but he's never been in this position before. Now, the great Tom Brady at home and stuff like that, there's no way he could ever let anything happen to that. But maybe this is a time. Saying there's a chance. Sam tonight.
Matt Carrier, don't bet against Tom. He will spoil it for you. Doug Fungus, so glad Stafford could get away from the Fords and become a winner. Stephen Baffey, let's see how the Rams look in 3 to 4 years from now. It's not sustainable. They have too much talent to fit the cap. And they know that. They would be the first to tell you that. They've taken all the chips and put it in the middle of the table. That's what they're going all in.
And just a little bit of it, right? Because what was the talk before is that, the Rams haven't been the same since OBJ got there. Well, OBJ and Stafford, they looked on the same page last night. So, I mean, again, there's another reason where you got guys balling out. The Rams put all their chips in the middle with all the veteran guys, and all these veteran guys, older guy, Von Millers, the Aaron Donalds, the Jalen Ramseys, the Odell Beckham Jr.'s, the Cam Akers. We hadn't even mentioned Cam Akers coming back after torn Achilles, 6 months that the surgeon that worked on him and everyone else said it was like putting the ends of two mops together, if you know what reconstructing an Achilles, and to come back in 6 months and be effective part of that offense, that's a difference too. We're going to dive into that more this week about he could be an X factor.
No question. Cintron World's an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling, flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and Revitalizer shots, the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings. Proud partners with the Pistons, exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena as well. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and, let's bottom line this, guys, great taste, I think that's a non-starter right there. It's got to be great taste. Cintron is your top choice. You can buy online at cintronworld.com with the promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it. Spin. Uh-oh. Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Pulling up all in the second hour of the show. Big D Energy, Neal Ruhl, DMAC, Darren McCarty back in the saddle, back tomorrow as well. I know you're still in those business world right now at DMAC.
It's a couple more weeks, but I'll be in, just so you know, Tuesday and Wednesday this week and next week, and then we'll be back regular after that. But that's what I love, about the Woodward Sports family, and appreciative to everybody holding the fort down so we can all take care of what we need to take care of. And I mean, I love it. It's nice to be back. You miss the microphone.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Talking to my dog too much.
Yeah. We were talking about business with DMAC in the business world. Our guy Sawyer, there was some business news that interested Sawyer this morning as well. And I'm a guy, I like to peruse the stock market from time to time. And I saw this story come across the wire and sent it over to Sawyer because I want him to break this down for me, to know if this is something I should move on. I know that there was a lot of movement today, but I'll give you, Sawyer, you can explain it in common language here.
All
but
right.
Activision Blizzard,
Yep.
which is a video game maker.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Call of Duty.
Yes.
Yep.
Overwatch.
Ooh.
Yep.
The household names.
League of Legends.
Yeah, the household names. Mm-hmm. They were acquired by Microsoft this morning. And as you would expect, the stock of Activision Blizzard shot up, went up about 30% overnight. Almost $69 billion Microsoft is going to pay for Activision Blizzard. So my business, what do you got?
Just before that. So Sawyer, Activision Blizzard competition would be like Rockstar
Yeah,
like the Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption. So this is
big time.
One of the big time developers. So.
Yeah, it's big time. There's no question. So, my question to you, Sawyer, is if you can give it to me in layman's terms, and everybody listen up. If you're active in the market or whatever, listen to what this guy has to say, because he's the ground zero to it all. What's your initial thoughts on that? Are you going to go all gamer on me right now and be bitter because corporate's involved with Microsoft and stuff like that? Like Activision Blizzard's not $1 billion company, but that's how you gamers are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to be bitter about that. I mean, if you own an Xbox or you have a PC and you have Xbox Game Pass, you're definitely going to be happy because you're getting like all of Activision Blizzard's catalog like added to Game Pass. So you'll get Overwatch, like you said, League of Legends, Call of Duty, multiple more games. But
you
like
can
RPGs.
already play those games on Xbox Live, no?
Yeah, but you just have to pay for them. So like Xbox Game Pass, the way it's set up is you pay like a flat rate every month, and then you get access to like 500 games that are on Xbox's catalog. So over the summer they bought Bethesda for that reason. So they added like the Doom franchise, Skyrim.
Doom's still around these days.
Doom Eternal, that came out last year. That's my favorite first-person shooter of all time. Doom Eternal is the best game.
Yeah, Doom is like the Tom Brady of first-person shooter games.
Yeah, that's what started it all.
It's right in your Tecmo Bowl. So you're pretty much, to understand this, is this the gaming world doing sort of into the streaming world, like the sort of like the Netflix or the Peacock, where they bought WWE, where they can show. So this is sort of more of like the power play of uniting everything else, because that's a big number.
Yeah,
I mean that like honestly, like I don't know, expecting like maybe 7 billion, not 70 billion. I mean that just goes to show you how big that gaming world is. Fortnite. Who owns Fortnite?
That's Epic Games.
So that's that's another different one too, right? So would you say that Activision would be one of the big two, big three?
Yeah. So when this deal goes through, Microsoft will be the third biggest gaming company behind Tencent and then Sony. Okay. So then it'll be Microsoft. But then back in the day, Activision and Blizzard were their own companies, so they were kind of rivals. So then they kind of merged. But then over the summer, they had like multiple sexual misconduct and sexual abuse things coming out, like of the workplace culture. So then that drove the stock prices way down. And then like nobody wanted to work there or buy their games. So then this is Microsoft maybe trying to like revitalize the company or bail them out a little bit.
Buying a distressed asset, more or less, like buying a dip. But literally. AC says, as a PlayStation guy, this is bad news, a monopoly by Microsoft. And guys, I don't know. I love our audience, though, man. Our audience can speak on anything.
Yeah.
We got, and I'm not pandering to people. I'm just saying, this is just from experience. Our audience probably has the most diverse skill set as an audience anywhere in sports media as far as audiences are concerned.
That. Oh, you're talking. Oh, yeah.
No, not the host.
Of course it is. We like everything out there, right, folks? We like what we like.
All right, Mr. Tom. All right, you explain this to me, Sawyer. Mr. Thomas says it's a great investment. They'll make over $200 billion. How does Microsoft make over $200 billion by buying Activision Blizzard? Give me the common man explanation.
It'll be like singers getting a royalty every time their song's on the radio. So every time like a Call of Duty title's sold, Microsoft is now going to get a percentage of that money.
Oh,
because
so they get the
it's
franchise.
Like Microsoft, and then they own Activision, and then Activision owns Call of Duty. And all that stuff, so then all that money will just matriculate its way back up to Microsoft.
Call that a trickle down.
So yeah, they're going to be rolling in the cash, and hopefully, maybe now that Microsoft owns it and they seem to care about gaming, because I mean, Xbox, Halo, that's revolutionary. Maybe Call of Duty will finally get like revitalized and be good again.
Detroit Dabber says PlayStation has Spider-Man, and that's about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Is this God of War?
Is this a blow to Sony?
It kind of hurts a little bit, yeah. If like Xbox moves it to like exclusivity too, then that would really hurt Sony. But I doubt they'd do that because they would lose so much money if you exclude PlayStation.
So let me ask you this, and this is where I kind of my mind goes and what I think about. If I'm Sony and you said what they're number 2, then you got to go acquire Epic Games, right?
Yeah, you got to go make some kind of play, like buy some developer.
Is Epic publicly traded?
I'm not too sure.
But PlayStation, you said, is number 1, so that would be the smart play, right? You have power with power. to go after Rockstar, to go after, something else, because, what does this mean? Like, as a gamer, Sawyer, how do you view this? Like, does this take Xbox to another level or a couple other levels, like you said?
I mean, it definitely helps, like, their gaming catalog. It'll help people, like, maybe buy more Xboxes, because Xbox Game Pass will literally have every Call of Duty game and
sort
all the
like
games
Netflix,
that Blizzard has.
right?
But
For lack of a better term, it's like paying $10 a month for...
It's like a subscription service.
Service. And then and also, too, can't you download the games so that you have them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like all cloud-based.
Yeah.
So, you just download it on there, and then when you're done, you uninstall it, and you can download another game.
Listen, we might as well be talking Bitcoin and NFTs right now, but I got a sort of a grasp on this right now.
Southpaw Lab says Sawyer's dropping knowledge right now. Alex Haggerty says, don't get me started on what Sony has. Sony's first-party games are head and shoulders above Microsoft titles in quality. Can you confirm?
Yeah, Sony does have really good games. They have the Gran Turismo series, God of War. Jay Thomas just threw the titles in there, too. Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man. So, and they're making their own Game Pass,
and
too.
Look, I think this is where I can lend some perspective to the discussion, where I'm not in the gaming world, but I go to this is why I go to social media, like when stuff's on, so I can kind of get the feel for the people at large. You know what I'm saying? So when I hear those titles, though, I don't think that has near the brand name equity that the other titles have, that Microsoft now has access to.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely... I guess, like, some of those titles are more niche to, like, people who have been growing up, like, with PlayStation. Like, if you had a PlayStation 1 or 2, like, there's a 90% chance that you grew up playing the God of War series.
Yeah.
Or, like, you grew up playing Uncharted. So then now that you're older, you love those games. But, I mean, that's just one thing that's kind of gotten to me, like, over the years, is just the console exclusive stuff that each, like... Sony does and Xbox does. It's like they're missing out on so much more money if they let it be bought by everybody. But those games are also kind of their babies and what makes them special, I guess, too. Because you can't get one without the other. But
Mike Malik says, I'm out of here. You people are lost. I'm like, no, I don't know. So that's why I bring it up. And that's why I take a few minutes to have you guys explain it to me, to have Sawyer explain it to me. That's what I like to do. Tomorrow, Steve Moran will be here in studio, owner of the world's greatest wrestling collection, here in studio for an interview. And DMAC, I know you're excited about that. The kid in me is excited about that too.
Well, you know what, I'll tell you, if knowing Steve Moran and not only with the greatest wrestling collection that he's got, from Macho Man stuff to Ric Flair robes to anything you can think of. I've been to his museum. It's unbelievable. But the big thing is this is a Detroit guy. This is a guy who gets involved in the community. The world's greatest wrestling collection is the title sponsor for the Fish Fiasco for February 5th downtown, outdoors, Clark Park. So we'll get to talk some wrestling. He's got great wrestling stories and stuff, but also, the alumni will be down there doing all the stuff on the 5th. So we're going to talk about that sponsorship and what it means to, be from Detroit and obviously give back to the community and stuff. So great guy, interesting guy. I can't wait to sit down and talk to him tomorrow. He'll be in studio.
I am too. I'm looking forward to geeking out. What do you got, Sawyer?
I was just going to say, seems like he's very excited to come to. I texted him to confirm today, and he just says,
great dude.
Sawyer, what's going down, my brother?
That's
so
it.
he's
No,
very
he's-
excited.
Are you sure you didn't text easy by mistake?
Hey, Neal, you're gonna Steve, and this is the true, and this is why I love. You know what? Love what you love. Be who you are, because this will bring us back to like the '80s and stuff like this.
100%.
His energy, it brings me there when I get around him and start talking wrestling and stuff. And he's a huge WWF guy, right? Which I'm a fan of and stuff like that. It's not my bread and butter, but man, just to listen to all the different stuff and the stories and stuff like that, we'll crack him open and yeah. What's going down, brother? We'll see him tomorrow in studio live.
Everybody's hype about it. People want a gaming minute too now. So
Oh man,
I do.
It's gonna be a
I'm
lot
going
of
to get
minutes.
Fridays off coming up here pretty soon. It's just going to be Sawyer 120 different minutes.
Yeah.
We'll have the Sawyer Gaming Minute, the Sawyer Motorsports Minute. We can have T-Foss come in. Somebody wanted the Terry Foster Motorboat Minute.
All the motorsports.
Motorsports, motorboats, all of it. That's not my words. That's what somebody in the chat talked about.
Motorboat. T-Foss on a pontoon.
Yeah. Sawyer's Motorsports Minute was the tightest, most professional news bit I've seen so far on Woodward Sports Network. T-Foss can talk about Disney shows. We can get a Motorsport Minute. Minutes.
There we go.
We could.
People are making a case for you, man.
Make
DMAC,
it a case.
You
but
can
you
make
know
a
what?
case.
Make it a case. But
And
you know what we
hold on,
need around...
DMAC, this is by request. People specifically said DMAC's got to jump back on this horse, so the stage is yours.
You know what? I missed this horse. This is my Scooby-Dooby-Doo Red Dead Redemption thoroughbred mare that I love so much. What is it? Security. You know what it is. Guardian Alarm. They get it. A good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. Guardian Alarm is state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe. All with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that let you check in on your home right from here. You can turn on the lights, the temperatures, detect smoke, or even that deadly killer, carbon monoxide. So don't worry, you can get in and out, let the kids in and out. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. If you want to be part of the Woodward Sports Big D Energy family, you can. All you have to do is give us a call today. 1-800
Stay out!
That's 1-800
Stay out!
1-800
Stay out! Get out of my house!
Get out of Sam's house, the fishbowl, wherever it is. 1-800 Stay Out. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years of keeping families safe. Let them keep your families, your business, whatever it is, safe too. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Big D Energy. We'll be right back.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Season for us. We're talking sports 365. Detroit Sports Network. Woodward Sports.
There you go. Here we go. Hey, let's go. Here we go. Get my sticker gun. Here we go. Hey, I need three more. Three more.
Finds Letty. Letty back to Larkin. Wrister scores! Dylan Larkin and the Red Wings sweep the season series from Buffalo as they win it 3-2.
Welcome back, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, DMAC, Darren McCarty, Sawyer, and Sam along today, too. Good to have DMAC back in studio. He's on one, man, after that Guardian Sports interview. DMAC, how cool. That's one of the cooler videos I've seen in a very long time.
When I saw that originally, and I know 5, 6, 7 years ago or whatever, and I remember how embarrassed sort of Dylan was, right? Being a young guy and just like sort of, and I told him, I said the difference between you and me is you had a camera. We did the same thing.
All of us,
Don't ever change that, right? And that's the love of the game, right? And that's your captain right there, right? And the guy that we've talked about as part of, we talk all year about the young kids. We talk all about Sider and Nedeljkovic and Raymond and stuff like this. But this is your captain. This is the guy who wears the C, right? When I saw that goal last night, that was the first thing I said, and I wanted to get it up because that to me what it's all about. It's that love of the game, and that's what it leads. And you listen to him talk, right? And it's the confidence of who he is. He knows who he is and the maturity. And I see a lot of the maturation of Steve Eisman and Dylan Larkin. No, he's not there yet, but it's the journey. And that's always who he's going to be to me. And guys, here is the teaching moment. Anybody out there, what have you put in to get out, right? Because you know what? The fact that he did that, and you heard him say, 3 more. I need 3 more. That's the way the hockey guys are. I mean, that reminds me of my favorite goal I ever scored was the second one against Patrick Waugh for the hat trick. Down the wing, 2-on-1, high glove from the top of the circle. Why is that? Because every time I leave the ice before practice, I go down the wing and have to hit that shot. You never know when it's going to come out, right? It's the same thing. So whenever I see that, take the moment, enjoy the journey. That just warms my heart, not only as a Detroit Red Wing fan, but a former player and everything else. And that tells you everything you need. And you look at it like last night. You laugh at it because it's a frustrating part of the inconsistency of this team, how they never quit and they can pull it out like that. So enjoy the ride, and those are little moments of the ride that I sincerely love. And hey, that's my captain.
Dylan Larkin, 2 goals yesterday. And really, DMAC, that's something where, and I always caution where, and you qualified it when you talked about, the Larkin-Yzerman comparison. I mean, Steve Yzerman was the 3rd best player on the planet.
Well, we're not talking,
you know what I'm saying?
And we're talking about leadership.
Yeah.
I don't know. But to that point, Neal, is you look at the way the league looks at him, because he got selected the All-Star game.
Right.
They see this. They see, he still holds the record for the fastest lap in the All-Star game and stuff like this. So they see that. And before I'm remiss, can we put this up? Because we have one task at hand today, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what it is. Vote for Big Ray. Vote for Lucas Raymond to get in the All-Star game. It's a shame that he wasn't selected, but, again, a lot of good players out there, but we can get them with a vote in. You're allowed to vote 10 times. I would hope that you've done it. I did mine at 5:30 this morning.
Yeah, and on pace to have a 20-goal season at 19 years old.
Is that good?
It seems to be pretty impressive to me. But Dylan Larkin, I just want to make sure that people caution like that expectation, because there are a lot of Red Wings fans that have heard about Dylan Larkin and all that stuff and maybe jumping back in. Just as far as that's his big ticket, I think, is that leadership, because they were dead. They were dead on the ice yesterday. Down 2-0.
They follow him, and he's figuring out the leadership.
And he brought him back.
And you got to remember, guys, I say wait till Jacob Verana comes back, right? Because then he doesn't have to weather the load. If Dylan Larkin is your second centerman, just like Steve Yzerman was, you're a good team. Right, you're a good team, and that's and just finding a way that these guys just compete and don't quit. Now it's the other night. I mean, it's inconsistent. How do you get shut out at home? And then you come back, you bounce back, but then you go on the road and you do something. It's tough to beat team back to back in this league. So shout out to them. I mean, they're going to frustrate me next week, so it doesn't matter.
Clomp Sauce asked, not the 97 game winner. That wasn't your favorite goal?
Well, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, that's my favorite one I ever beat one guy one-on-one, because I only beat one guy one-on-one. You just saw timing. But no, the second one was just because of hitting a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It'd be like, yeah. So, I mean, either or. Does it matter?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Some other news come out of the Red Wings game yesterday. Mo Seider, the 3rd fastest Red Wing defenseman, to 25 points. Good to see Jeff Sharples in the mix.
Jeff Sharples, yeah.
When I was a little kid,
a name from the past.
Yeah, when I was a little kid, that's kind of my first Red Wings memories on watching on Channel 50.
Which lets you know that, wow, and he was a first-round draft choice, so, it's something that slipped through the cracks late 80s.
Oh, by the way, Nick Lidstrom, too.
Who?
Some guy named Nick. Not sure how it ended up for him.
Oh, dude, that's the guy that Holmstrom drives around.
Yeah. Not sure how it ended up for him, but I trust, his career went pretty well.
Okay.
He seemed to be like he was going to be all right.
We'll have to Google that.
But I do need to ask you about this. And I think we're seeing kind of a revelation in hockey, like we are with all sports. We've seen it in basketball. Basketball's gone positionless. I equate this, however, this whole Mo Seider phenomenon to where maybe I'll take heat for this, maybe I won't. Right now, as this team sits right now here today, I think the most irreplaceable person they have on that team is Mo Seider. And I say that because the big defenseman that is also a playmaker. I mean, all the boxes that you check. they seem to be the hardest to get too, DMAC, in that, certainly the Connor McDavids and the Sidney Crosbys and all those guys, those guys certainly are unicorns. But you know what? I equate Mo Seider and this big defenseman in the NHL today to the mobile quarterback, where you seem, if you have one of these guys, you have a coveted prize.
You're looking for a Josh Allen, right? Where you have size. And here's the thing with Mo Seider, and this is without, getting too much into it and getting myself in trouble with stuff that I know, is you got this Irvinson coming down the pipe where you have two of that's the game has changed. Where I always say that in my time it was size, right? If you were 6'4", 6'5", 220 pounds, 30 pounds, they'll find a spot for you. Well, the game evolved. Now it's not size, it's speed. But in saying that, with speed, right, mobility on the defense that can lug minutes, that can play penalty kill, that can play power play, and play 25 minutes a game, you have one of those. What does it remind you of, right? And I look at this team, right? How does Steve Yzerman build the Tampa Bay Lightning? There's a guy named Victor Hedman that it started with. Now, I know he got Steven Stamkos. Don't get it twisted. But if you look at the lock stock, you got, the Stamkoses, the Kucherovs, and stuff like this. But the stalwart to that team.
Well, Hedman's the one you can't get.
Is the Hedman. Right. So
you can't get him.
You can't unless #Wiser plan. You got the guys out there doing all the work. And like you said before, used to be, what was it? The Red Wings are always ahead of the game with their scouting. Hawk and Anderson and stuff. Where do they get? The Fedorovs in Russia, right? And the Datsuks. And then they go to Sweden. And they get the Lidstroms and the Zetterbergs and the Holmstroms. And then they go to Germany. And now they got the Seiders. And then they're back to Sweden with the Irvinsons and stuff like this. They're never satisfied. So he knows what he needs to be able to move forward. Now it's also the development. You take the thing that I don't think people realize is that in this situation of Mo Seider and Lucas Raymond specifically, the COVID, the lockout, them playing over in the European League and stuff like this, helped their development so much that they were ready to play. And that's what you're looking for. So the Irvinsons that's playing in the Swedish Elite League, you're expecting him to come in and make a difference. So imagine if you have two guys, one right, one left-hand shot that's the same size doing the big things. That's where it's at. That's where your stability is. Then, right? Then you run it up. In baseball, it's up the middle, right? It's catcher, pitcher, second, short, center fielder, right? You mentioned in basketball, it's changed. There's no really true position, right? Football, quarterback, the ends, right? The pass rushers and stuff like this. Well, this is where it's changed. When you don't need that Sidney Crosby, and you need them, but he's not the most imperative one.
Right.
It's that defenseman that you're talking about because he can skate and play all minutes and do everything.
Klompsaw says, watching him live really seals it. He doesn't panic, not a lot of mistakes. Looks like a 5-year vet already. And it's incredible. And that's the one. We can look at this roster, and certainly Lucas Raymond's been impressive, and DMAC said go vote for him to make sure that he makes the All-Star team. Mo Seider, to me, is, if you had to pick a franchise guy, I'm talking about the dude. He's the dude.
Well, here's the thing, right? And you mentioned to both of these, it's their maturity. And it's not, listen to him talk, or the maturity of the growth and different stuff like that. That's where it's at. And these guys are young, but they get it, right? And that's the development, and that's the stuff that I'm talking about more so. Yeah, we see the skill, we see all that, but it's the maturity, right? Because you just don't, you have to get there. And every athlete gets there where they feel like, oh, man, I belong, right? And those two right off the bat have felt like they belong and showed it.
Emerald Eye says, imagine if Josh Allen played hockey. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, a lot of Josh Allens play hockey now. They're all that big.
Oh, man. He brings it. He absolutely brings it. Again, that's where it is, though. I mean, just how dynamic Seider is. And somebody else brought up a good point, too. Alex Haggerty, DMAC, do you also think the fact that there's only 6 defensemen typically on a team, but 12 wingers and forwards, does that have an effect on needing a defenseman more? It's almost like starting pitchers, right?
Well, yeah, it is. And it's a guy that's got to be able to play in all different, responsibilities. That's look at the minute loggers, right? Look at just go down and see who logs the most minutes for each team. And a lot of times, if you have that guy, because usually what happens, Neal, is you got one guy who's a defensive guy and you got one guy who's sort of offensive on and off, and they share the points, right? So you don't have him getting the points. The big thing about Mo Sider, it's power play, shorthanded, overtime, whatever like that. He's dangerous at any time.
Absolutely. DMAC yesterday, I unleashed a special edition Get Right pick of the LA Rams, and that one cruised to victory. The Get Right DMAC, and you can confirm 11-6 right now. That's all I'm saying.
That's a winning record.
That's all I'm saying. That's factual. That's documented. You can go back and look it up. And if you went to mybookie.ag and got in on the Get Right special, you're happy here today. If you haven't yet, there's still time for you to join up, man. Go to mybookie.ag, use the promo code Woodward. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000, folks. That's a lot of Get Right picks that you can turn into a lot of Get Right money. Now that you're loaded up and ready to go, it's time to place your bets with no regrets and get your wins when it matters most. If you're torn about where to place your first bet, listen up, because I'm going to get you in the right direction here with mybookie.ag. And guys, look, there's taglines, and the Super Bowl's coming up and all that kind of stuff, and that's cool, and that's important. And those, of course, they'll double your first deposit up to $1,000 with the promo code Woodward. But here's the thing, guys. If you've been bumping around different sites, you know this. The interface is smooth. It's easy to read. All that stuff. That's where it is, guys, because you're doing this in live time, man. You got to know what's going on. You got to be able to see it. It's got to look clean, got to be visually appealing, all of that. And most importantly, work quickly. MyBookie.ag checks every one of those boxes. You're looking for somewhere to get down for the NFL playoffs. The only answer is MyBookie.ag. They'll double your first deposit with the promo code Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the Problem Gambling Helpline. 1-800-270-7117.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
It's all happening now.
Putting on a show here, and that's how you answer. We love our sports. We just wish they'd love us back. Detroit sports for Detroit sports fans. Woodward Sports.
Talking Red Wings here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, a guy that knows a thing or two about the Red Wings. Darren, McCarty, Sawyer, and Sam here. Also happy to have y'all with us along for the ride. Steve says, if I had to pick a franchise guy, it has to be Dylan Larkin. He's been the go-to guy. That's why he's the captain. But for me, DMAC, if I can only take one guy off this roster, it's Mo Sider for me, man. It's a cornerstone defenseman, young, very, very cheap the next couple of years, an all-star player, no question. We'll see that as well. Could be a future, dare I see, MVP candidate. I mean, we're talking
trophy winner.
Yeah, we're talking like that ceiling,
legitimate,
right?
And you're not wrong, and that's not a diss to Dylan Larkin at all. It's the what you're dealing with is looking the way that the NHL is set up now, right? And you need that defenseman guy. So I don't think that I gotta agree with you, because that's the way the NHL is built these days.
Just some news coming out where Yahoo's Finance just put out a story, Sawyer. They said that the Microsoft acquiring Blizzard Activision is basically betting on the metaverse. It's a metaverse-related deal in terms of what Activision could play with its franchises. You agree with that?
I told you, NFTs, Bitcoin, metaverse, it's all there. They're going to the new world. Get your goggles ready. Here we go. Ready Player One.
Somebody had a good question that I did want to touch on. We went back to when we were talking about Stafford. And this thought did pop in my mind. I didn't get a chance to get to it, but I think it's important because I want to get DMAC's take on it. You guys know I'm compromised when it comes to Sergei Fedorov. The biggest Sergei Fedorov guy out there. Won a league MVP. during the time of Lemieux and Gretzky and Yzerman and all that guy. Never forget that, by the way, guys. But anyway, I got to throw those subtle digs in there all the time, DMAC. That's the way I operate.
Subtle facts?
Yeah, subtle facts.
Oh, okay.
Gatorrader says, Neal, why is it that Detroit doesn't like Fedorov for leaving but loves Stafford so much? Fedorov was the main reason for 96, 97, at least one of the key reasons, and one of the greatest two-way players in history. And they both kind of left on their own accord.
If it comes down to Sergei, it all goes back to the signing the offer sheet with Carolina, that it doesn't, it's sort of when you're going to almost lose them for nothing and stuff like this, and it comes down to a business, decision that is made, and it comes down to personal feelings. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to be business is business, but unfortunately, that's not the way life works, and some people hold that thing together. You look at Stafford, it was almost a blessing to leave. It was like they gave him his flowers on the way out, and they gave him a thing and stuff like this. And with Sergei, it was more of that bitterness. Even though I'll tell you right now, without Sergei Fedorov, the beauty of him waiting to come back in February of the 97-98 year to repeat is he took over that whole series in Washington, and that's the reason I have a second cup. A lot of the thing, he was unbelievable, especially in Game 3, goal. The goal he scored. But that's Sergei taking it on his back. And what people don't realize about Sergei Fedorov is you got to always understand, man, is because he's just sort of understood. And you have people that Sergei's mentality was more of, well, look at all the great players around me. They don't need my help. Where it would be like, yo, Serge, can you help us out here? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm here. In different ways. You hear the stories, the Russian Five lad yelling at him in the thing, but it's more the appreciation and the understanding. And I think that it was like, the one thing is, and I get it, because it's not about anything except that I see you and I appreciate you. And we understood that. I love Sergei, and I see it's more politics than it is than the stats or than what it is. Also, too, right? So, the two biggest disappointments are probably his jersey retired and Ozzy in the Hall of Fame. I mean, you could make those right, but I think there's too many bad feelings, personal feelings that linger because of what happened, 25 years ago. Right, wrong? No, I don't. It's not right, it's wrong. It just is.
It just is. And pretty much everybody in the YouTube chat, though, remember, you can jump in on that, get your thoughts out there. Pretty much everybody retire 91. Gator Raider, Mickey Lumfeltz, everybody. Retire 91. What do you think about, and I know we're going to go down this rabbit, this is like a YouTube rabbit hole right here. YT Sparty, Fedorov was like the Joe Dumars to the Red Wings. Think that's a good comp? He was just so dynamic, though, and Joe was just kind of like business-like, whatever the situation dictated. Like Sergei could take stuff over, but I guess Joe Dumars did too.
Yeah, I just think clutch is the fact that when it came down to it.
Was he the greatest playoff performer in Red Wings history? One of.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the most talented, might be the most talented.
Did he raise his level in the playoffs? Maybe.
Yeah.
Does he get enough credit for what he did defensively against the Avalanche?
No. He never.
I've always thought that.
He never be head to head with Forsberg and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's where that's where the fire of Sergei to compete. Where you tell him and that's where Scotty used to say, "Hey, you gonna be the best Russian on the ice tonight? You gonna be better than this Forsberg guy?" Like Scotty knew how to mentally challenge him. Just like the fact that we all, knew that. We had to just say, "Hey, Serge, can you help us out here, bro?" Oh, okay. So I don't know. I love the guy.
Gatorade, thank you for talking about this. I love Fedorov and want to see his jersey retired. And look, there's no bigger proponent of it's the biggest travesty in Detroit sports that Sergei Fedorov's number's not retired. Hard stop.
And go.
Yeah, all right. I gave everyone a little line there so you could
that's a tweet.
So you could clip that. Yeah, that's it. That's the clip. I'll always go back to it, man. I'll always go back to it. Probably my favorite hockey player of all time. No, there is no probably. He's my favorite hockey player of all time. And I was deep into the NHL in the 90s.
You know what? I think I like what Juice's Ghost says. I think he was more on the Barry train, where he could just pop it. You know what I mean? He was never a speed burst, a breakaway, a shot. You know, the one thing, here's the thing, Sergei Federov, like, people always ask, like a Marty LaPointe, right? You saw him rip, and somebody mentioned it, rip Patrick Waugh's glove off in 97. Heavy shot. Like, you never want to get hit. Now, Sergei's was more like just a laser. Like, it hit you, and you'd be like, oh, something hit me. But, like, the pinpoint action, in and out of the net, in and out of the net. It was just, it's just amazing the talent that this kid had.
Yeah. And people are saying, the Wings had so many talents.
But if I had white skates, I would have been fast, too.
It does make you look faster.
They wouldn't let me wear the Nikes.
It does make you look faster. And his commercials, too, were incredible. Those Nike commercials were incredible.
He has great commercials back in the day because he had the great flow.
Yeah.
It's great flow.
No, it's just, I know that, I know we're going down the rabbit hole here, and I'm going to do this from time. This won't be the last time I do this season.
No.
And we're gonna have, DMAC and I, once football wraps up, I'm thinking in February, we're going to isolate a day in February, and we're going hard on the Retire 91. I'm gonna load the cannon.
If we go hard on Retire 91, can we go hard on Ozzy to the Hall of Fame?
That'll be the next day show.
Okay, perfect.
And that's a travesty too. And I don't care what. Look, Osgood took a lot of heat in this town, and I understand that. But you can't. You look at that. If I took Osgood's name off that resume,
that's what I'm saying.
There's no
it's
doubt
the same
that
as Isaiah.
It's
like putting Isaiah's stats up there, saying what he did, and not saying who it is or whatever like that, and you're biased to whatever it is, the player, the size, the this and that, what he did, on or off the thing, always higher. Always higher. It's the same way with Chris Osgood. Because here's the thing: 400 games won,
in the
3
NHL.
Cups, backstop, and 2.
Stop.
That's the tweet.
That's it. Again, for me, it's a lot like Osgood is the Red Wings' Jack Morris, where I never understood.
Jack got in though.
Yeah, but it took forever. I never understood why
All right,
he wasn't
Oz,
in.
You got a chance. They're saying Samsonite again.
Yeah, no, but I never understood why Jack Morris wasn't in. Because they talk
never
about
did either, especially for when he did not just here when
Right.
I grew up,
Minnesota,
when he did in Minnesota
and then,
in those games, pitching 9-inning games,
10-inning complete
10-inning
shutouts, and like was widely regarded the most dominant pitcher of the '80s. Like you can go Google that. Widely regarded. How many decades has there been in baseball? Like 15. If you're the best pitcher of one of the decades, you're one of the best to ever play. You're in the Hall of Fame. Like this just seems easy to me, is it not?
Yeah, Neal,
do I have a character flaw or what?
Hold on. I figured it out. All the stuff we're talking about takes common sense. People making the decisions obviously don't have.
And again, everyone on social media, on Twitter yesterday, has me thinking, like wondering about myself. Is there something wrong with me that I think like that?
No. What? No. I think the same way. So no, it's wrong with the rest of them. But that's the. It's amazing, like you said that. There's certain things, Neal, like look at what we talked about today, and we learned last night, about the Stafford with the Cardinals. It's either here or there, and a lot of people are either here or there. It's black and white.
Yeah. Just the Osgood thing seems really easy to me. But then again,
that one's easier than the Fedorov thing because I understand the trigger that needs to be pulled. The glass might not get broken to hit that trigger to hang that jersey for a while.
Yeah, so
right?
We're talking about feelings.
We're talking about feelings. Right, which Hockey Hall of Fame shouldn't have feelings. I get a team when you own a team and you have feelings. Well, that's your team. You sign the checks. You can put in your rink whatever you want. When it's about the Hall of Fame, no bueno.
No, I don't understand it.
Though.
Yeah, I don't understand it. But I do understand how a mystery beer vending machine works.
Yeah,
I know
works
somebody
real
knows
nice.
something about that.
I mean, all you got to do is go to the Folding Warehouse. They have 2 of them there. So if somebody's at the other one, just go to their second long bar in the Giant Warehouse, and you get
must
yourself
have
a
been
mystery
there
beer.
again to know that because I don't think you knew that before I left.
I mean, I've hit the machine twice. I've got the PBR, I've got the old Milwaukee. Braylon got the Colt 45, so 3 for 3 every time. You're not going to be let down. And if you don't want to risk your $2, they have over 100 beers. So get yourself a 2-Hearted Ale, a Corona, Coors Light. Make sure the mountains are blue, a Bud Light. You can mix it up. They also will make you some cocktails too if you want to do that. But mystery beers.
By the way, you can go foaling too.
Oh, I didn't even get there yet, right? You can go foaling at this place as well.
After you're all warmed up at the bar.
Multiple lanes. I know you can show up, pay $10, play from open to close, unlimited play. It's a great time. Pay $120 to rent a private lane for your corporate event, family reunions. just whatever you want to do. We had our Christmas party there for Woodward Sports. It was a fantastic time. The owner walks around the warehouse, teaches you how to play. It was made at a place very special to me, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So, I mean, you can't go wrong. I'm definitely going to go back for the NFL postseason, for the Daytona 500. Basically, any big sporting event, this is the perfect place to be at because it's so entertaining and such a fun thing to do. So, do me a favor, go to thefollowingwarehouse.com or go to the Following Warehouse in Hamtramck today. We'll be right back here on the Woodward Sports Network. We got Neal Ruhl on the desk. DMAC is back. Finally, we got Sam on the audio, and I'm just in here on the ones and twos. Be back in a flash.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, Joy.
It's Woodward Sports.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, DMAC, Sawyer, and Sam here in the house from our Woodward Sports Studios and the My Bookie Studios here in Birmingham, downtown, right off of Woodward. Happy you got you all with us here today. Juice's Ghost says, yes, Neal, something is wrong with you, but it's not this. I like that. I think that's the only thing I'm starting to think that's wrong with me. Is it? I don't know. Is it too much logic? Is such a thing as too much logic?
No, too much common sense.
I don't know, man. Like I'm questioning.
I mean, Neal, here's the problem, right? If you want to get out of the logic, quit nailing them with facts. Quit throwing facts to just do what everybody else does and just speculate and run around. Don't give facts behind your arguments. Because if you don't give facts, then I can't tell everybody it's true or not.
Yeah.
So that's your own fault.
Lots of talk about how Lou Whitaker got shafted too. 100% agree.
Oh.
Again, pull the names, put him up against Joe Morgan, who everybody loves so much. Look at those numbers, and then tell me where you're at too. So, yeah, Lou's another one too. Just given the nature, you got to look at the second baseman too during his time in space when he was playing. So I don't know, Sawyer. Is there something wrong with me? Like you've had a chance to sit there and kind of think about it.
I mean, I feel like you're very attached to the truth and logic. You know, I don't think that's a flaw or anything. Some people seem to be disconnected from the truth sometimes, but I mean, you're grounded in it, and I think the same way as well. Like I don't know if I overthink things, but I like to think a few steps down the line, you know, just to make sure the plan's going to work. Nobody's going to get screwed, you know, and everything works out logically.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, maybe it is. I don't know. Georgia Bulldogs, by the way, as we wrapped up the college football season, certainly the Georgia Bulldogs were the champions, deserving champions. I don't think there's going to be any argument from people in that respect. They made history. They were the first team to play the number 1 team, the number 2 team, the number 3 team, and the number 4 team. They were the first team in college football history to play all those teams in a season. 1, 2, 3, and 4. You remember when people talked about the whole who'd they play, and you remember that whole bit?
Yeah, it's always a bit.
Some folks are pretty wrong about
well,
that.
Here's the thing. At least it's open so they're 3-1. So somebody can play the first 4 and sweep them all. There's still a record to be made. But, in all honesty, like you're talking about facts and accountability, what else do you want Georgia to do or whatever like that? And when you show me stats like that, my hat's off to them because, wow, they really did something that if you break down past champions, what is the last teams? What are the teams the Alabamas that won? What were the top 4 teams they played? What were their rankings and stuff like this? I think that you can't, for lack of a better term, poo-poo that stat too much. You got to get your hat should be off. Wow, Kirby, nice job. Not only got over the hump, maybe this is the sign. Kirby's smart, got by Saban. Stafford got his first playoff win. Oh, who knows what's up? Maybe this is one of those karmic things, Neal.
Yeah, and I know what everybody always does, right? Like they jump on Clemson was overranked. That was the first thing that we got on the YouTube.
Can we drop that? Because you can only play what they give you.
And they played them at Clemson.
Yeah, I understand that, but I mean, it's like I hate those arguments when, I mean, go to the source of it. Is that be mad like you're going to poo-poo it? Well, we know that the energy guy is in charge of the NCAA and in charge of the,
right.
So don't be mad at that. But you can't take it away from Georgia because of what they did with what was in front of them.
They were still 10-3. They were still a 10-win team. Like people think. I always thought that. I did think that about Georgia's season, where people really poo-pooed that Clemson win. It was Clemson like national championship Clemson. No,
but it's still Clemson.
Yeah, they were a 3-loss team, just like a lot of other teams were out there.
And a year that there was more continuity, right? Where a 3-loss team is actually better than in the past. Wouldn't you say? A Clemson that's 10-3, not up to their standards, but still a good football team.
Yeah, a YT Sparty. And so, we'll jump on this, I guess, since we're talking about Clemson, I guess, and the ACC came out and said that they're not on board with the playoff expanding. YT Sparty says just keep it at 4. It's working. And for me, DMAC, expand it for what?
Yeah.
And I know why the ACC, and I know what they said to the media, but I'll tell you why the ACC doesn't want that playoff expanded, because they know that they only have one team that's capable of getting there, and they don't want that money diluted. That's where
and a lot of that time too is that, and you've brought me privy to that, is that okay, if they do expand it, who does it benefit because whose teams will get in more? Well, you expect that there'd be more SEC teams, right? More teams for, and then the pay goes out because, you got 3-4 teams out of 8 teams in the playoffs. There's half the chunk, right?
Right.
And that's a big thing, too, because you can't forget, if it's not, there's so much behind it, right? It's just saying it's not just this little cabin sitting on top here. It's this underground, everything underneath the ground ready to explode. So, again, follow the money, right?
Yeah. Gatorade says, my Florida Gators were ranked 7 in preseason. Were they a number 7 ranked team in reality? Well, no, they didn't win 10 games either, like Clemson did. So, and win a bowl game.
And that's preseason. And you're talking about college kids. So, I mean, preseason, it really doesn't do
Braylon
much.
Edwards is coming in. Look at the drip.
Holy cow.
Did you see that, Sawyer?
Listen, I think he's dripping the flip-flops, too. We're gonna if he looks this way, I'm waving him in so everybody gets a sight.
He has the Sparky Anderson 1984 World Series dugout jacket on. Drip. Just straight drip. Look at that. He's walking through. Oh, man.
God. Dang. God, man, one of these days I might be as cool as him.
No, you won't be.
No, it's true.
No, you won't be. Yeah, so it's interesting to me. I don't want to see this thing expanded because you know what else we'll get to? And it's weird because it's going to sound like I'm talking on both sides of my mouth. The NFL expanded the playoff situation by one team, right? They let one more team in. It gave a lot of juice to people that were in cities that still kind of had a shot or whatever. But this week, I think we saw the byproduct of that too. Were the Steelers a playoff team?
No.
Did they belong on the same field with Kansas
No,
City?
and when you say
Did the Eagles belong on the field with Tampa?
No. And then that's what it goes down to. But again, if we're talking about college or the top 4 teams, the cream rises to the top or whatever like that. But you said it gives another fan base, two more fan bases, an opportunity they didn't have before.
I always have to answer this from time to time. So Naki 23, Neal, why can't they follow the Division II model? Because of the massive amount of money that the Division I college football 4-team playoff generates right now. And to add teams to that, Naki, means that you have to split money up further. That's why people in the ACC aren't interested in adding more teams, because they know as they sit currently constructed, Clemson's their only ticket to get in. If you were an ACC, would you want to split your money with 8 more teams? Or do you want 1/12 of that check? Or do you want 1/4 of that check? Because the check's going to be pretty much the same. It might go up a few bucks if you expand it. Because when you boil it down, everyone says, I hate the bowl games, or I hate, blowouts in the playoffs like we saw. you'll watch it the first year, but then a little less will watch it the second year. Like if Alabama plays Coastal Carolina or whoever that group of 5 is that everybody talks about. You know how that's going to end, man. And there's no allure to it. So to circle it all back, Nacky, it doesn't work because the TV contract's too big. That's why. And because it's split up amongst institutions and conferences.
You know what gets me thinking, though, Neal? Is obviously this first year with NIL, and it's wild, wild west. They haven't figured it out. But 2, 3, 4 years from now, right, when they do figure it out, will that change the money situation where, it's a different grab, and then because of the money, it would be more realistic to expand the playoffs? That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Why Division II games played at home stadiums, not bowls that make money. And the bowl itself, it generates revenue. It's the TV contract that's the monster in that. Tammy Chin says, bummer, I missed the hockey talk. Well, Tammy, that's where the podcast page will come in handy. All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, subscribe to the Big D Energy Podcast, and you can rewind it.
Missed a good one.
Yeah, you can rewind. We got in depth. It was pretty good, Tammy. I highly recommend that you go back to it and break it down, because it was a very good decision. So that's the short answer to the question, is because money has to be divided, and it's a massive amount of money, and people aren't into sharing it. Pretty much like everything else, right? We come back. We'll wrap this thing up. Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neal Ruhl.
Coming on the stretch here, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, DMAC, Darren McCarty here in the house, Sawyer and Sam, also YouTube chat thread, Miki Lum Phelps. Someone tell U of M fanboy Ryan Romani, who was all over Georgia, saying they played no one. They can only play the teams in front of them that are on the schedule. So, wow. Some
or you can stick around 2 o'clock for the bottom line.
You tell them
yourself.
Braylon Edwards, Ryan Romani, bottom line 2 to 4. Maz will be in the house. Sam is killing it with the music. Drop the playlist.
Bomb.
Sam's delivering the goods here today. Absolutely. No, it is, though. And we've been talking a little bit about the college football playoff and how it all works and all that kind of stuff. And again, guys, like somebody said, look at the Joel Klatt model. See, everyone's...
You lost me. You said Joel Klatt, and I turned it off.
Not even that. And there's different iterations of the Joel Klatt model or anything like that. Here's the thing, guys. I hadn't seen it, so I just looked at it. And his thing here, breaking it down, having not won their conferences, the following 6 teams who Klatt put in his mock playoff as the at-large bids. And guys, here's the problem. You guys are worrying about it on the field and games related. College sports has nothing to do with what's on the field. Nothing. Mm-hmm. Again, maybe this is a character flaw in me. I'm just telling you guys how this stuff works in the real world. And just looking at Klatt's at-large teams here, I don't see any ACC teams on that list. So the ACC's out. They're not going to go for it. Period. End of story. Because their quarter share gets diluted to a 12th share. Would you go for that?
Once the money doesn't make sense, at least if they're going to be a change, you got to, the big, it's just like anything else. People are looking for more money. How are you going to make me more money? Not how am I going to give you more money?
Right. And I believe it was DJ Quick that said it best. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And that's the way that these schools operate, everybody. We got to get out of that realm of thinking. You do. You got to get out of that realm of thinking because it's not reality based and it's not going to happen. Would you do it? Would you do it if you were the ACC? Would you be like, yeah, we'll sign off on this? Why would you?
Absolutely not. You keep it at 4. You know you got Clemson's. That's your golden ticket every year, which 4 to 5 years you're going to make the 4, right? I mean, if you have they want you to make it, right? They do everything in their power to get you into there because you are the cream of the crop. Not a chance until they fix the money.
Juice's Ghost says, Armani doesn't read the chat. Mostly we spend our time making fun of Maz on the YouTube chat. Right? Hey, it sounds like a fun activity.
Standard.
AC, it's not a character flaw. It's the way you say it, LMAO. Okay. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah, it's just that we have to look at it from that perspective. We got to do a total reset of the way we think and what we value. You got to put yourself in the minds of these conference commissioners, these athletic directors, and revenue splits and all that stuff. So you don't know. AC, don't you think Pitt can make it to the playoffs? No, I don't. No.
How do you really feel about Pitt?
Well, no, I mean, they got a top 15 draft pick quarterback, and they didn't make it.
Right.
So,
well, here's the thing. Everybody's trying to make something that's not. And that's
a great way of putting it.
Right? And that's that if we're lucky to have 4 teams that will go for the championship, which isn't the way it is. It's usually 2 or 3. Right? So it's not what we want it to be. The thing is that everybody, you nailed it. They're focusing on the talent, the guys who's coaching here, what this record is, what this. That has zero things to do with it. Zero things to do with it. And why is that? It's just like Corey Woods reminded me today when we were talking WWE and I was about to get upset and he just said Vince being Vince. NCAA being NCAA. And I won't take them serious to whatever it is until they do not have an energy guy running their company. Like, that's the how do you take it seriously and how's anything else? Because it's strictly money. So unfortunately, at the end of the day, Neal, where we want it to be about the sport, when we want it to be about on the field, this is absolutely nothing to do with on the field.
Right. And that's where it's going to be. And that's the baseline. That's where we need to attack this, guys. When we start our thinking is, okay, where's the money? How is the money dispersed? Oh, okay, kind of working backwards. Yeah, the ACC's only got 1 team. The SEC, and again, I would think that the SEC, they would be against it too, because they get 50% of all of it.
Right.
Instead of 33%. Yep. Even if they get 4 teams in there, now they're only going to get 33% of it. Yeah, so why would they go?
Guaranteed, you guys, 2, maybe 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. It's right, exactly. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, and that's where, for me, so the ACC's not on board with this. The SEC's not on board with this. Now, I know the Big Ten would be, because now you have a very good shot at getting 2 in,
yep,
as opposed to hoping you get 1 in.
Well, and here's the thing, too. As opposed to the ACC, where what we saw in the Big Ten, the top's getting tighter, right? We saw Michigan defeat Ohio State. So the ACC doesn't have that. So you need that where there's closer competition at the top of every conference in order to make that happen. Because then, but again, the ones that have the money ain't going to give it away.
Yeah, and that's where it is. People are talking about buys and everything like that. Buys aren't fair. None of that matters.
No. That's the whole thing. It ain't about fair. It's not right or wrong. It's just what is. And you know what, Randy? You said something very poignant here. You're here for the daily drops because Neal's got bars from every song for every situation. That's the reason that I showed up today.
Yeah.
You and me, Randy.
No, it's good. It's good to have you back, brother.
Good to be back. Reed.
You were on one today.
Flies. I was on one. Yeah, no, that's what happens when I get a good night's sleep and haven't been here for a week.
But you know what? Where it's not about today's show.
No.
You had pent-up energy.
That's it.
What are you going to do tomorrow?
Got to bring it again tomorrow. Don't worry. I'll be going home practicing those. Sam and I will be rehearsing those Guardian alarm ads. We'll bring it even better tomorrow.
Right. No question.
What's on the agenda tonight? You got a low key night for
you got a low key night. I'll be getting ready for the Golden Grizzlies broadcast this weekend.
Nice.
So I'm actually done with the Milwaukee stuff. It's nice because we're starting to turn that corner conference play where you played everybody once.
Oh.
So the skeleton of all your work is done. It's just updating numbers and a couple stats.
What's he talking about, folks? Mailing it in. Tune in. Oakland Grizzlies broadcast. Anyways,
stand.
anybody else, don't forget Curacao Oak Island tonight, 9 o'clock. They're going to find something sometime.
Right, there you go. We'll be back at it tomorrow. For DMAC, for Sawyer, for Sam, my name is Neal Ruhl. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listen to Big D Energy on the Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.
Give me that biscuit. I'm going to bury that biscuit.
Gang, gang.